This is Steve Schultz. He is a televangelist and the owner of the Elijah List Facebook page. It's got like 400,000 subbies on it or something like that. He has a lot of really high-profile people on there, like a lot of really famous televangelists. People that work closely with Kenneth Copeland, for example, probably the most famous televangelist of our time. You know, you got Hank Kunneman, you got Johnny Enloe, lots of Q people. He's even had Michael Flynn on. He's had Eric Trump on his show. Really high-profile people on this dude's channel. So I wanted to go through some of the predictions, or they're not really predictions, some of the prophecies that were laid down by televangelists on this guy's Facebook page over the past year. Because now that 2023 is rolled around, some of those prophets are now considered false prophets, as it turns out. Many of these people claimed that Trump was going to be reinstated by 2023, among other unabashed lies. So I figured we'd listen to Steve Schultz's response to that criticism, and then we're going to take a look at a couple of the blatant lies told on his channel. Check this out. Early January 2023, this is how Steve Schultz reacts to the criticism.
Most of you, many of you would say, okay, then Steve, what's the conclusion of the matter? The conclusion of the matter is we just weighed this thing out. We gave you proofs and shocking things that you'd forgotten had been said, things that you didn't even know had been said, laws that you didn't know that took place, things about the commander-in-chief. We've given those to you.
Commander-in-chief, of course, being Donald Trump in his mind. He's a true Trumper.
We've given those to you. You've weighed, and I guarantee you that there's people out there that 100% are at peace with this. They go, okay, I get it. That was really probably a real encounter, and he really is our president. We don't quite yet know why we don't see him. But Kat Kerr just said weeks ago that the news is going to even announce it, that he's...
They think Trump is currently the president. No joke. This is how they get around it. So he's criticized for saying Trump will be president in the next year. Before 2023 rolls around, Trump will be president. And here is his answer to that criticism. Trump is president, secretly. He can't come out and just tell us that he's really the president and he's pulling the levers from behind the scenes. But he is. Just trust us.
But Kat Kerr just said weeks ago that the news is going to even announce it, that he's the president.
Kat Kerr is another televangelist.
So it's a couple weeks into 2023. It hasn't happened yet, but Kat's word even was, like I said, only a few weeks ago. We waited out, and someone says, well, then someone has to decide, was it correct or was it not correct? No.
It was not correct. It was a blatant, flat-out lie. They claimed Trump would be president before 2023, before January 1st, and here we sit. It was a lie. It was a false prophecy. Now, I vividly remember what the Bible has to say about false prophets. Deuteronomy 18:23, my favorite Bible verse. I like it the most because it disproves Jehovah's Witnesses theology. It shows me that I have nothing to worry about. Let's just go to Deuteronomy 18, just the whole chapter, and just kind of take a quick gander through. Deuteronomy 18, let's look at verse 19. I myself will call to account anyone who does not listen to my words that the prophet speaks in my name. But a prophet who presumes to speak in my name anything I have not commanded, or a prophet who speaks in the name of other gods is to be put to death. That's pretty specific. And here's my favorite verse, verse 22. If what a prophet proclaims in the name of the Lord does not take place or come true, that is a message the Lord has not spoken. That prophet has spoken presumptuously, so do not be alarmed. Don't be afraid of him. Don't even pay attention to him. That's the point of the verse. If somebody claims to be a prophet and the thing that they speak doesn't come to pass, it means they lied. It means they didn't get that message from God. It means they aren't even speaking to God. That verse gave me a lot of comfort when I left Jehovah's Witnesses religion, because the governing body claims to receive prophecy from God. Unfortunately for them, the prophecies that they claim to have received from God fail time and time again. And as the Bible says, there's no reason to be alarmed. So here we sit listening to more prophets lie to our faces, claiming that they hear God's voice when they do not. Keep listening to what he has to say here. Keep listening to his flimsy justification for the lies that he just told in the name of God.
And someone says, well, then someone has to decide, was it correct or was it not correct? No. Some will think it is and will love this explanation. Others of you will say, I don't see it, Steve. I know you're trying hard, but I don't see it.
Look, I'm not advocating for the death penalty for this. I don't believe any of this stuff anyways. But nobody should be saying,
Steve, I know you're trying hard, but I don't see it.
Nobody should be saying that. At the very least, you should be completely excised from the Christian community for claiming to hear God's voice when you did not. The Bible specifically tells us what's supposed to happen in this situation. If somebody speaks in his name something that he has not commanded, they are to be put to death. That's what it says. Now, I don't stand for that, but at the very least, you should be removed from the community entirely. Nobody should respect you as a religious figure in any way after this.
You're trying hard, but I don't see it. All right, everyone just reached their own conclusion. We weighed it carefully. It says 2 or 3 prophets speak and let the others weigh carefully what they said. All right, we just weighed it. Now you're on your own. You can believe the way you believe it, and it's okay. There's not a right or wrong. My piece is that this was a real, live, accurate encounter, and that except for the detail of when do we see him physically in the White House.
Yeah, the entire thing is completely made up, and it's absolutely absurd to me that this guy is still respected as a religious figure to any degree. The Bible specifically prescribes the death penalty for this stuff. Again, I don't stand for that. I completely disagree with that, but it's inarguable at this point that he lied, that these people were wrong. So let's listen to some of these instances of people being completely wrong, about them blatantly lying to your face as a man of God and pretending to hear God's voice when they didn't. This is Johnny Enloe, Pastor Johnny Enloe, July 25th, 2022. Listen to this one.
I'm just going to say some things again, and controversial until we show the proof. But we'll tell you that, the Supreme Court of Heaven already decertified the 2020 election.
Oh, that's good.
That happened the day of the thievery. That happened November 3rd and November 4th. It was
apparently heaven has like a court system set up exactly the same way the U.S. does. I mean, this is news to me. Why would heaven need a court system? I thought God was like the ultimate judge, isn't he? Can't he just like decide things on a whim instantly? He doesn't need a court system to make these decisions. Can't he just snap his fingers and make things happen the way he wants it to happen? Like, that in itself seems like a small thing, but what a truly astonishingly bizarre claim to make, that heaven has a Supreme Court where things are adjudicated. Really?
November 3rd and November 4th. It was decertified in heaven.
Wow.
And so the Supreme Court of Heaven decertified. So just let that resonate with you. Now, the Supreme Court of the United States somehow freed up from some constraints of blackmail or whatever, either late June or early July. They also have already decertified the 2020 election.
Now, that's the rumor I've been hearing. And are you stating that? Are you coming out and stating that they did?
I'm stating it.
Wow.
He's claiming to have received divine revelation from God himself, telling him that the Supreme Court of the United States decertified Joe Biden's election and certified Donald Trump as the real president. Dead serious. You cannot make this stuff up. Well, you can make this stuff up. I guess that's what got us in this situation.
And,
Wow.
and you're going to see that. And they didn't just decertify it, but in that decertification, there is a certifying of President Trump.
Right, because you got to take that extra step. There is no decertification process. Doesn't work that way in our judicial system or in our like electoral system or whatever. There's no decertification. So getting over that hump alone would be like its own thing. But he's saying not only did they decertify something that doesn't exist, but they also certified Donald Trump. An additional step. Just everything about this is absurd. And it's all based on the lie that he heard God's voice.
Again, just so you make it clear, the spiritual and the natural, I have been saying all along when people say, when's Trump coming back? I was like, he's never left. He has never been out of his position as supreme governmental leader on the planet. He has
on the planet, not of the United States, of planet Earth. That's very different. Donald Trump is the supreme governmental leader of planet Earth. Does it get more absurd than this? And what's more, Johnny Enloe he just painted himself into a corner where he is incapable of criticizing Joe Biden for absolutely anything now, because everything is being run by Trump, right? The military is being run by Trump. The economy is being run by Trump. Everything. That means everything down to inflation and the withdrawal from Afghanistan and how trans issues are being handled. Literally everything is being done by Donald Trump. Is being decided by him in Johnny Enloe's mind. But would you be surprised to find out that this guy is still criticizing Joe Biden as though he were the president anyways? His beliefs are not internally consistent. Nothing about his belief system is internally consistent. Nothing about it is cohesive. But he espouses this stuff as though it's fact anyways. You know why? Because he says he heard it from God himself.
Governmental leader on the planet. He has not left it. He's not been. There's some other ones working closely with him, but he is number one, has been number one, and he's
your mom number one.
Been that for years.
Can I state it another way? When prophets were saying there was going to be a red wave and he was going to win by a landslide, and
oh yeah, that didn't really work out super well for them, did it? Oops.
There was going to be a red wave and he was going to win by a landslide in 2020. Are you stating that he not only won by a landslide, he never left office, having won? He's now starting his other.
Oh, please say yes. Please, I'm begging you.
Term, if you would put it that way.
He won by a landslide. 2018 was a landslide. The midterms as well. It was another theft. Another fraudulent election. Again, prophets paid the price for saying there's a red wave in 2018. That'll be proven too. The proof of that will come back. So
great. Any moment, right? Come on, let's have it.
All of those who attacked the prophets for not getting it right on the 2018 red wave, just remember who you were and who you attacked, and be prepared to, just do the correct, right thing and say you're sorry.
Sure, will do, Buckaroo. I'm on it. I'll be prepared to say I'm sorry the moment it's proven wrong. He says the proof is coming. I'm waiting. Been waiting for, 3 years. 3 years, I guess. 2018, I guess I've been waiting for proof since then. So 5 years, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, how long do I have to wait for proof? Any minute now, right? It's coming any second. Here's another example of a guy who falsely prophesied, lied, bald-face lied to our faces, and claimed that God told him that Trump is going to be reinstated as president before 2023. If you're unfamiliar with this guy, his name is Manuel Johnson. He is a character. Again, he appeared on the Elijah List, Facebook page or whatever. Let me just give you an idea of who he is in case you forgot, because it's been a while since I covered him. He's actually in my channel trailer. This clip is. This is from early August 2021. Check this out. He's talking about Jesus telling him to buy a BMW motorcycle.
I was going down from the mountain, just in awe at what just happened to me. And the voice comes.
He's receiving divine prophecy from God, sounds like, coming down from a mountain. Like Moses. Didn't Moses come down from a mountain and hear God's voice? Wow.
He says, my son.
This is getting real.
Go get our bike. He said,
our bike.
Go get our bike. not your bike, because this is not. So it wasn't just about me.
Because Jesus likes motorcycles, right?
He says, "Go get our bike."
Wow.
He's crying and everything because Jesus told him to buy a new BMW motorcycle. Does it get more absurd than this? For what it's worth, this guy also ran a crypto scam on his people, so I guess it does get a little more absurd. Which is more absurd, a crypto scam or trying to talk your listeners into believing that Jesus told you personally to go buy a new BMW motorcycle? How about this one? This could be more absurd than both. Late November 2021, the guy comes out here with a prophecy from God. Listen to this.
Into this, went through this portal, and I'm watching, and I see a lot of movements. It was a beautiful day, a lot of movements. Nobody was wearing a mask. Glory to God.
He's describing the year 2022. God took him through a portal, like a time portal, and allowed him to see into the future. And when he arrived, nobody was wearing masks.
It was a thing of the past. The mask, the virus is going bye-bye. And I didn't know what year it was, so I saw a gentleman pass by me. And as he was passing by me, I had asked him, I said, "Sir, what year is this?" And he looked at me crazy. He thought I looked like, I think he thought I was drunk. And I said, "Sir, please tell me what year is this?" And he looked at me and he says, "Where have you been?" I said, "Please tell me, what year is this?" He goes, "Man, it's 2022. Don't you know? It's 2022. And I go, "Wow." And then he started to
Wow.
Then he started to walk away. And I asked him again. I know I was prompted by the Holy Spirit to do this. I said, "Sir, who is the president? Who is the president?" And he said, "Don't you know?" I said, "I don't. Please tell me, who is the president?" And he told me, he said, "It's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is our president." And saints, get ready. I don't care how it looks now. Donald Trump is our next president. He will get a second term. So the way it looks, it may look like that he's not winning. It may look like all this stuff. But God has plans for our president. He will be you will see him being inaugurated a second time, our president. And they're going to show that picture.
In 2022, this is going to happen. This isn't something that's going to happen in the distant future. This isn't going to happen when he wins a second term in 2024. No, he said 2022. God took him through a time portal, and he asked somebody, what year is it? 2022. Well, we're now in 2023, and Trump is not and hasn't been the president. He flat out, blatantly lied to your face. He lied and claimed he heard the voice of God when he did not. And what's more, he did it on this poor fool's Facebook page, claiming to be a prophet. These people have no shame. How is it that there are still gullible suckers out there who believe the nonsense these people spread? Again, you know who else has been on this guy's Facebook page? Eric Trump. There are a ton of prophets. Kenneth Copeland, supposed prophets, not actual prophets, obviously. False prophets, probably more accurate. I'm comfortable calling them false prophets now. I don't think Kenneth Copeland's been on his Facebook page, actually. Maybe. But a lot of Kenneth Copeland's friends, Hank Kunneman, Amanda Grace, Andrew Womack, Lance Wallnau's been on here, I think. Kat Kerr, Manuel Johnson, Johnny Enloe. I mean, these are people that congressmen listen to. These are people that congressmen call and talk to on a regular basis. Johnny Enloe is invited, up on stage to pray over congressional candidates last term, the 2022 elections leading up to them. These are not nobodies, but they are false prophets, and I'm comfortable saying that unequivocally at this point. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and let me know if you want to see more stuff like this.